What's the real price of industrial automation? Is it a few thousand, tens of thousands, or more? Today we're cutting through the mystery and giving you the numbers. Whether you're an engineer trying to pitch a project or a business owner weighing your options, this video will show you the actual cost breakdown of a typical PLC automation system. We'll walk through every part: the PLC, HMI, drives, panels, programming, and more. You'll even see a real-world estimate for an automated labeling line. But before we begin, what's your guess? How much would it cost to automate a simple factory task? Think about it and see if you're right by the end of this video. Let's get into it. When someone says let's automate, the first thought is usually the PLC itself. But in reality, a PLC system is made up of multiple cost layers, and ignoring any of them can blow your budget. So here's what you're really paying for. 1. Hardware. This includes the PLC CPU, the brain of your system. Input-output modules, digital and analog, to connect sensors and actuators. Power supplies and terminal blocks. Relays, contactors, and safety components. And of course, the HMI, your touchscreen interface. Depending on your setup, this hardware can range from a few hundred to several thousand euros, just to get started. 2. Software. You'll need programming tools, Siemens TIA Portal or Allen Bradley, Studio 5000, SCADA or HMI design tools, license fees for advanced functions or diagnostics. Some tools are free for small projects. Others can cost €1,000 plus per license. 3. Engineering. Now comes the brainpower. This is where the system is designed and programmed. Control panel layout, writing ladder logic or structured text, creating HMI screens, documenting the system for maintenance teams. Expect anywhere from 40 to 80 hours of work at rates between €40 and €80 per hour. 4. Installation. You'll also need electricians to wire sensors and actuators, connect motors and drives, test the panel and safety circuits, perform on-site commissioning. Labor adds up fast, especially if there are delays or rewiring needs. 5. Training and documentation. Once it's built, people need to use it. That means operator training sessions, custom manuals and troubleshooting guides, documentation that meets audit or compliance standards. It's the part many skip until a machine stops and no one knows what to do. 6. Maintenance and support. Even the best systems need updates, spare parts, or remote troubleshooting. So always factor in long-term tech support, preventive maintenance visits, firmware and software updates. It's not just about buying the system, it's about keeping it running. Let's say you're automating something simple, like a labeling station on a packaging line. Nothing too advanced, just detecting a product, printing a label, and placing it correctly. Seems easy, right? Here's how the costs play out in reality. You'll likely start with a mid-range PLC, something like a Siemens S7-1200 or an Allen Bradley Compact Logix. Expect to pay anywhere between €400 and €600 for just the CPU, depending on your I/O count and communication needs. Next, you'll need an HMI so operators can see status and control settings. A decent 7-inch screen? That'll cost you somewhere between €400 and €900, depending on features and brand. Drives for the conveyor motors, especially if you're using variable speeds for label alignment, will add another €250 to €500 per motor. Then comes the control panel. This includes wiring, terminal blocks, fuses, power supplies, and all the little pieces that hold the system together. Even on a basic cell, that can easily cross €1,000. And for a fully assembled custom panel, you're looking at €2,000 to €3,500. And that's just hardware. You still need someone to design it, write the program, build the logic, create the HMI, and integrate it all. Engineering costs add up quickly, especially if your process requires PID tuning, alarms, or product changeover logic. A small project like this might take 40 to 80 hours of programming and testing. At a rate of €40 to €80 per hour, that's another €2,000 to €6,000 easily. When you total it all up, hardware, programming, installation, you're looking at a real-world project cost between €8,000 and €20,000 for something as simple as an automated labeling cell. And remember, this doesn't even include the mechanical equipment, the labeler itself, conveyors, or sensors already installed on the line. This is purely the automation side. Now, is it worth it? We'll talk ROI next, but first, pause and think. Would your operation benefit enough from reduced labor, fewer labeling errors, and 24/7 reliability to justify this investment? Let's see what the numbers say. So, let's say you just spent 15,000 euros automating your labeling process. How long will it take before that money comes back to you? Let's break it down with a simple example. Before automation, you might have had 1 or 2 workers handling labels manually, placing them, checking alignment, correcting mistakes. Even at a modest wage, that could cost you 25,000 euros or more per year just for that one station. Now imagine replacing that with a system that never calls in sick, never misplaces a label, and runs night shifts with 0 complaints. Even if automation only halves your labor costs, you could recover your investment in under 12 to 18 months. And if you are dealing with frequent labeling errors, rework, or compliance issues, the savings are even faster. But here's what really tips the scales. Scalability. Once the system is in place, your output doesn't depend on how many people are on shift. It depends on how fast the line runs and how well you've programmed your logic. That's a game changer for growing operations. And don't forget the hidden savings: fewer errors, better quality tracking, and more consistent throughput. Over 5 years, that 15,000 euros investment could easily save you 3 to 4 times its cost. Now that's ROI you can justify in any boardroom or on any factory floor. But let's be honest, automation isn't all upside. Even small projects come with hidden costs that can surprise you if you're not prepared. For example, material delays can push deadlines. A component that's back-ordered for 3 weeks could hold up your entire panel build. Then there's compatibility. Ever bought a sensor that didn't quite talk to your PLC the way you thought it would? That's hours of reprogramming, or worse, starting over with different hardware. And don't underestimate training. Your operators need to know how to use the system. Your maintenance team needs to know how to diagnose faults. And if they don't, you'll be paying for every little support call, even debugging. The time it takes to fine-tune the logic after installation is often underestimated. Real systems are messy. Logic that works perfectly in simulation might act completely differently once it's live on the factory floor. So yes, automation brings huge value, but only if you plan for the full picture. Here's the quick advice before jumping in. Start with a clear goal. What exactly are you automating and why? Involve your technical team early. Let the people who will operate and maintain the system give feedback during design. And please, don't cheap out on safety components. Whether it's e-stop circuits, light curtains, or relays, your operators are worth the investment. Automation is not a one-time purchase. It's a strategic investment, one that can transform your productivity, reduce your costs, and future-proof your business. But only if you do it right. So, how much did you guess at the start of the video? Were you close? Let us know in the comments what your first automation project cost, or what's holding you back from starting one. And if you're an automation company looking for expert PLC and robotics programmers, or if you're a technician looking to work on the best projects, Autom8Deal.com is your go-to platform. We connect automation talent with companies that are building the future. Subscribe for more insights, and we'll see you in the next one. Because at Autom8, we don't just talk about automation, we help build it.